Hi, good afternoon, and welcome back to the channel. Today is March 15th, 2026, and it is Sunday afternoon. And by the way, good afternoon, and it is probably about 1:30 in the afternoon. Well, it is 1:30. So anyway, we're looking at a bike here called Ebicycol. It is a K5 model. This is a full suspension, dual motor, 5,000 watt, 48 mile per hour electric mountain bike. This bike has two motors. It is equipped with a 52 volt, 2,000 watt motor in the front, and it is another one in the rear. And this one is also stamped 52 volts, 2,000 watts. And each one of these motors peak at 2,500 watts apiece. So they claim it to be a 5,000 watt dual motor electric mountain bike. Closer here. A little too far away. So anyway, this bike is riding on 24-inch tires. They are 24 by 4 fat tire. And this bike is also using 180 millimeter rotors. And they are also stamped at 180 millimeters. See the stamping right there, 180. And this is using Logan hydraulic brakes. They're full all hydraulic brakes from the caliper all the way up to the levers. And they are also marked Logan. So this bike I purchased through Amazon. And I think at the time this bike cost me probably a little bit more than $1,400. Of course, I've upgraded the pedals. I put Zeroth pedals on here, and they have the cleats on them so your feet won't slip. You can get these pedals on Amazon. I think they're like $30. And I added a mirror just to always see what's behind you. And also this bike has a front headlight, which is on right now. And also it has a rear light, which is integrated with the brake light. And if I hit the brakes, oh yeah, and this came on the back of the seat. So it was under the seat, it was under there, but with the bag, so it came with the bag, but with the bag on the back of the rack, you couldn't see it, so I installed it on the back of the bag for now. I think that's a pretty cool spot. At least it's visible. This bike is full suspension. I added a D&M air shock A06, and it is 165 millimeters. And also, I think the front has, I forget, maybe 110 millimeters of travel on the front suspension. The front suspension on this is pretty tough, so it takes a lot for it. Never bottomed out on me. Even if I push down with all my weight, it doesn't bottom out. So this is a pretty tough bike. And I've added Almost all the work you see here I did myself. I did all the wire management. Pretty nice and neat. And by the way, it's not really warm today. It's pretty cold here in the Northeast. But I figured I'd get out and get a ride in. Thank everyone for joining me. I got this bike, let's see, probably about a year ago. And the bike is running absolutely great. Alright, so anyway, there are Samsung cells in this battery pack. And it is stamped at 32 amp hours. But a lot of guys on the internet have taken that battery apart and say that it's only a 25 amp hour battery. But you can always buy a second battery for it if you wanted to. That depends on how far you go and do you really need that second battery. I don't think I need one. So what's really cool about this bike is you have the option for the adjustable seat. It's not like the cafe racers where you're just stuck with one seat level. So it does give you that option to adjust the seat so you can get a decent leg throw. And like I said, this bike is capable of 48 miles an hour. It has a really cool display. It gives you your trip, gives you your odometer. Wow. Yeah, I only have 200 and almost 35 miles on here. And gives you your max speed, which on my way here, my max speed was 20 miles an hour. I was going through town, and an average speed of 10.4. And we are sitting at 56.6 volts, which is pretty much almost a full charge. Alright, so thank everyone for joining me. We're not going to go for a long ride today because it's kind of cold. It's actually, my fingers are starting to feel the cold. Alright. So it is kind of overcast. So now when I do try to do the reviews on these bikes, I always try to make sure that it is in PAS 0, because I've even seen guys on the internet have accidents where they'll leave it in gear and the bike will take off on them. And the worst thing you can do is put your chain back on while the bike is still on and in gear. Always be sure to turn it off before you do anything like that. Alright. So this bike is pretty quick. And no reason to really fly around like a maniac. But anyway, I do live in the state of New Jersey. And we're going to have to see how these laws play out. Now, since I guess Governor Murphy signed this proposal and this new law, there's a lot of guys who pretty much just gave up the hobby. I don't even see anybody out anymore. I don't see anybody on their bike. So I think instead of people getting their license, insurance, and registration on their electric bikes, I think they just said no. I guess no one wants to break the law, so, but I'm a diehard. I'm not giving up my bike. If I have to license insure and register my bike. I'm gonna have to. What other choice do I have? I'm gonna die and I'm gonna ride till the day that I die. I am not giving up this bike. So out of all the bikes throughout the years that I've been into this hobby, this is one of my favorite bikes that I've ever came across for a stock bike that you can buy on Amazon for about 1,400 bucks, or a little bit more than 1,400 bucks. You can't beat it. So right now I'm in pedal assist 2, 15 miles an hour, pedal assist 3, 20 miles an hour, pedal assist 4, 26 miles an hour, and of course pedal assist 5 will bring you to the top speed of anywhere from 40, I think on the website they say anywhere between 40 to 48 miles an hour, and I've had this bike up to 48 miles an hour. It's a pretty quick bike, quickest one I've ever owned so far for a stock bike. And inside the controller box there is a 40 amp controller plus 2, I think it is. So there's a 40 amps that powers the front motor and 40 amps that powers the rear motor. And this battery is capable of a 50 amp BMS discharge with high quality Samsung cells. So I believe that these also, the stopping power is pretty good. These brakes are better than the DY Islands. I think they're more, you can feel more hydraulic feeling, they're smoother. I could crank down the road, but I'm going to take my time. A lot of debris. So I have not anyone said anything to me yet. I kind of take my time. I don't want to ruin my hobby for myself. And we're gonna see. I think we're about almost 60 days in to where he had signed the proposal. So now that proposal eliminates Class 1, 2, and 3. So now the state of New Jersey is classifying all electric bikes as a vehicle, regardless of its watts, its power, its speed. They're all claiming to be a vehicle now. Throw it in dual motor so we can get out of the way here. There we go. Perfect. have to see what happens. So now the deal of it is, with dual motors and having this much power, it's good to get out of the way when you need to. I went from probably 12 miles an hour to 30 miles an hour in seconds and caught up to that car. So if I have to license and insure this bike, I'm gonna have to. What else are you gonna do? Because there's no way, guy on his bike. Oh yeah, I don't need gas. Don't need any gas. We just made a quick stop here, and should we try to go for a quick ride through the parking lot? I just had to get a couple things. So I use my bike just to run some errands. These bikes are really efficient to run errands and head to a store, do a couple things, you know, where it replaces your car. So I haven't drove a car probably in 10 years, ever since I got into these bikes, and I live in town. So now with the new laws in place in New Jersey, I'm going to be forced to renew my license, which I have a good driving cleaning record. And they just expired, so I'm gonna have to renew them and maybe just get an SUV, and I can throw this or some of my bikes in the back of a vehicle and maybe try out some trails on the Pennsylvania side. So thank you all for joining me this afternoon. On my 5,000 watt dual motor, full suspension, electric Ebicycol K5 model mountain bike. And thank you all for joining me. And if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and thank you all for watching. Peace.